Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. My name is Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh. We are now here. Extreme Rules is on our doorstep. There's just a smackdown between us and it. And we're gonna see a horror show. Because that's the tagline. I think the official name of the pay-per-view is The Horror Show at Extreme Rules. But at the moment, we have 6 matches announced at time of recording for The Horror Show. So I guess we'll just do our usual rundown, start from the top and get to the bottom kind of thing. But we'll take a look at the United States Championship match, just because that one's got a shiny new belt that's on the line.
Yeah, I get the new title. That's cool. I don't mind the design. It's nice. I don't get why it was MVP that debuted it. I don't get why what's going on with that and stuff. I still think it would be best to put Apollo Crews with MVP with his growing stable. But this is an odd way to go about it if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, there's still, I guess, paths to that. Not as many now, but there's definitely some. It almost felt like MVP just created his own belt and has brought it in, and he's just wearing it, and he's like, it's just the belt. Deal with it. Just the way that he, as non-champion, is owning it. So I think, regardless, we probably see Apollo Crews walk out with the title here, just to give MVP his comeuppance and take the new belt. But as you say, whether that is a part of him merging over into that stable, or whether that's him rejecting it, we don't just know yet.
Yeah. But, I think we both see Apollo Crews walking out of here as still the United States champion.
It's the most logical choice. There's no reason to rip the title off him. He's been having a good little run at the moment. MVP sure as hell doesn't need it. He doesn't need any championship to sort of legitimize anything he's doing. He's acting as a sort of de facto manager kind of leader guy, which means he needs it even less. Guys like his heavy, like Bobby Lashley, should be going after titles, as we've just seen with the WWE Championship and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think real heavy chance Apollo Crews walks out champ. And sticking around in the why is this the kind of match that we're having? And I guess because it's the horror show. But let's discuss the eye for an eye match. Now, I went to WWE.com and I went, maybe they described to me what an eye for an eye match is, because maybe I'd misheard things, maybe people had misspoken. And, no, it definitely says in text, where a winner can only be determined by extracting the opponent's eye. Why? What? How?
I don't know why they're doing this. I mean, the current situation does grant some weird circumstances for weird storylines, and I think I get where they're going with this, and I'm fine with it. But yeah, it's something that probably didn't.
I totally get the.
But hey, if it advances Seth Rollins' character, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's no way they're ripping out Rey Mysterio's eye. Clearly, and it would work perfectly for the gimmick that Seth has, for him to lose an eye for some time and then magically get it back at some point later on down the road.
I can't believe we're discussing a storyline who's going to work better with one eye. Yeah. I get the metaphor of the point. The eye for an eye. The second part of that is the whole world goes blind, but it's an interesting stipulation for a wrestling match. And I know AEW, I think, had one with Mox and one of the guys from the Inner Circle. But looking at it purely from a...
Hopefully Seth is better at selling it than Jon Moxley was.
I think Moxley had a key jabbed into his, if I recall.
I don't know, because I didn't really care enough to find out. But I do know that he was really bad at selling that he lost an eye.
Well, I want to see what sort of effects we're going to do here, because... And I'm sorry if we're leaning a little bit off radio, but it is the stipulation. You got to actually pop it out. The stipulation isn't just like blind them or something. It's like it's got to come out.
This is clearly going to be the cinematic.
I think it has to be just to even make it work.
Yeah. 2, I'm betting there'll be a glass eye involved. But yeah, it's one of those cases where it's like we can see maybe MVP winning the United States Championship. There's always the possibility. I don't think we're going to see a Hall of Famer get his eye ripped out.
Yeah.
At the end of his career.
I guess when the whole point is like this feud, it's got so many elements. It's got Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy. It's got Seth Rollins versus Ray. It's got Dominic coming in for his debut eventually. Maybe Dominic gets his eye ripped out.
Maybe, I don't know. It's a case of we're not sure where we're going from here for one person. We're pretty sure of what's going to happen for the other. So we'd have to see how Seth would respond from this. But I think he won't, with his character and the way he's been running it and stuff. I think it's just another element that will elevate him even further as the top heel on Raw.
I guess we look at this one and we say, that one's got to be a cinematic match. Are we going to get a second cinematic match? Because we've also got the Wyatt Swamp fight between Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has to be as well. It's just, I think it'll be, if it's not cinematic, it'll be like what they did with, when the Wyatt family fought the New Day on the Wyatt compound. Which is a forgotten cinematic match. But yeah, it's just, it's like, why, you asked why we were doing this earlier. Here's why are we doing this? We've already seen Bray Wyatt versus Braun. Yes, it was Bray, not the Fiend. But we've already seen this, and the title's not even on the line. We could be doing something else with the title. We could have Braun versus somebody else.
Yeah, I think we have to put so many qualifiers on it, right? It's like, we've seen very recently Braun Strowman versus TV show host Bray. Now we have Braun Strowman versus cult leader Bray. And I imagine that this is just going to be leading to Braun Strowman versus The Fiend.
Yeah. And at that point, I won't care.
It'll have been stretched out so far. Especially when we thought we were getting Braun Strowman versus The Fiend back last time they clashed. We thought that's what we were getting.
Yeah, I think I would have been fine with that if the next step would have been just The Fiend versus Braun in an Extreme Rules match of some kind. This is just like, well, why do I care? Braun's going to probably win this, or survive this, if not win, if isn't a win situation. Only for the Fiend to either take him out at the end of the segment or on SmackDown on Tuesday. And then we'll just get them at SummerSlam.
I think that's definitely... If Braun Strowman versus The Fiend at SummerSlam doesn't happen, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Alright, well, we are roughly halfway through our show, so that means it is time for our entrance theme of the week. We're going to be running in with the Extreme Rules 2020 theme for you right about now. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. My name's Grady, his is Josh, and we still have half of the Horror Show at Extreme Rules card to run down. Let's jump on over to the women's division now, as Bayley will be defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Nikki Cross.
I would love Nikki to win here. I mean, it would make me so happy. Almost as happy as Dana Brooke winning the title.
Oh, Nikki's a bit more likely than that.
Yes. But unfortunately on this night, I think the Dolph Ziggler train is left the station for her. It's left her behind.
Oh, that's not nice. But also absolutely true.
Yeah. This story has to end eventually with Bayley versus Sasha for the title. If it doesn't end that way, they have wasted 4
I was
years
gonna say,
now?
a lot of years.
And they made Bayley into a huge heel just by tapping into this "can I see your manager" personality. And then you have Sasha, who's getting some traction, I guess, but is for once Bayley's best friend instead of the other way around. So we need some sort of conclusion. We need Bayley versus Sasha. After that, if Bayley retains, which for God her reasons, I don't know why she would, then somebody has to take Bayley down. And then we could maybe do a 6-pack challenge and Nikki sneak away with the title that way. Because at that point, there would be nobody left in the SmackDown Women's division for Bayley to beat. So, my heart says Nikki, but my head and everything else about me says, let's be realistic, Bayley's retaining.
Yeah, I'd also love it if some sort of, as you say, Nikki Dana type could pick up the title, but 4 years, or however long it's been, the Sasha Bayley stuff's been brewing. Braun on NXT comes up. Hints are there in the main roster. Potentially something they can do. Stalls it out. Doesn't have it at WrestleMania a couple times. Oh, I guess we'll have it later on. Nothing. SummerSlam. Gotta happen.
Yeah. And they've got to get rid of the tag titles between now and then, too. Because that's got to be the spark that lights the ignition to the kaboom that is Bayley versus Sasha.
Yeah, obviously we'll jump into our other women's match that's already announced on the card, which is the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka defending against Sasha Banks. There's a couple ways between these two matches that you could light the fuse without the women's title involved, but then you've still got to get that off of them because they'll be feuding. Unless they're going to do some sort of, Shawn Michaels, John Cena kind of thing, where it's like they already had the tag titles and they turned on each other, but they still keep defending the tag titles, despite hating each other's guts kind of thing. I don't know.
But that would be honestly, that would be a really stupid idea.
Oh, yeah.
To put the Raw title on Sasha.
I definitely agree. I don't ever suggest good ideas.
It's just Asuka. She's only a couple months into her title reign. She had to deal with Nia and got past her. I mean, and we just saw the return of Shayna Baszler. Yeah. I don't see Asuka losing here. What I do see is more than likely Bayley tries to help Sasha, but ends up screwing Sasha over.
Yeah, I think that.
And that would be one of the elements for the rift between them that would explode after they actually lose the tag titles.
Yeah.
And then you get Bayley versus Sasha for the SmackDown title.
I think it all comes down to match order and just quite how they want to play the storyline. Just because it crosses over multiple matches. I could definitely see a case where that sort of thing happens with the Bayley match. Like maybe Sasha Banks tries to help Bayley, cost her the match, and Nikki Cross picks up the win amazingly, just because that would make me happy. And then later on in the night, the Sasha Banks Asuka fight, Bayley purposefully makes sure that Sasha Banks loses. Obviously, then there's no title on the line between the two at SummerSlam, but it's just that rift and how they want to play that rift.
That is like the Dolph Ziggler chances for Nikki to walk out with the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's got to go first, and it's got to have Sasha help, and unintentionally help Nikki win the title.
And I'm down for that.
And then Bayley gets quote-unquote revenge by making sure Sasha doesn't become Raw champion.
I don't know. There's just so many elements at play, because that obviously still leaves the women's tag titles in play. So I don't know.
Which is why I wish they would have lost them by now.
Yeah.
They've had plenty of opportunities because they defended them a lot since winning them.
Yeah. There's definitely been times where they could have dropped them, or they could have done something with them to get them off of Banks and Bayley, but I don't know. I don't know what we're going to be seeing heading into SummerSlam. I don't know what title is going to be on the line. I don't know who's going to be holding what. And let's see how that plays out. We've obviously got to get through Extreme Rules before looking too closely at SummerSlam. But we're on the road.
They probably will pick like the most stupid route that they can go and give Sasha the Raw title, so that Bayley would have the opportunity to beat Bayley 3 belts.
Yeah. Don't even put that in the universe. No.
Because that's something they would do.
I'm not going to allow it, so I'm just going to move on swiftly. WWE Championship, final match on the Extreme Rules card, as of time of recording. Dolph Ziggler will be having his own Dolph Ziggler's chance against Drew McIntyre, but the match stipulation Dolph Ziggler gets to decide, and he will announce it at the show.
Probably will end up being an Extreme Rules match. If not, ladder match.
I've seen some stuff floating around where Dolph Ziggler will, as the stipulation, or as part of, ban the Claymore kick, and stuff like that, just so in storyline and stuff like that, oh, now Drew's got to rethink his entire strategy. Oh, he's playing mind games and that sort of stuff, and I could see it, but it's probably going to be some sort of Extreme Rule-y kind of match, given the pay-per-view we're at. But it could also be some sort of horror show stipulation, given the pay-per-view we're at.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever it is, it'll backfire in his face. And then we will see Drew extinguish Ziggler, who shouldn't even be in this match. Let's be honest, he shouldn't have had the title match to begin with. Because what has he done to earn it?
Yeah, it definitely feels like a stalling match.
Yeah. The thing that I would like to see next for Drew is Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, something gnawing at the back of my head tells me Orton's not done with Edge.
I don't think Orton is.
And that could happen at SummerSlam.
It all depends how quickly Edge can come back from his injury.
And then the question becomes, who does Drew face?
Let's crack our fingers and stare down the list of superstars on the Raw brand list. And let's see what he could pull off here. Raw. Okay, we got Akira Tozawa, a little busy. Aleister Black?
That's an option, but it's two faces that are facing each other. It's unlikely. It's not impossible, but unlikely.
Andrade Algarza? Not a big match.
No, but in all honesty, what WWE Championship match has Drew had since winning the title, that would be considered a big match.
That's true.
But yeah, I could see Andrade. Andrade would be a great stopgap match for Drew.
Mm-hmm. Apollo Crews got the US title, probably still going to have the US title.
Yeah, a little busy.
Big Show? Probably going to be losing to Orton. So
yeah, probably getting punted out of existence.
Bobby Lashley.
Let's be honest.
Bobby Lashley took his shot, lost it.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar.
That's possible, but I've heard that they don't want, because there's no crowds, they don't want to bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put it in the unlikely category.
Cedric Alexander?
Not going to happen category.
Yep. Dolph Ziggler, obviously just getting his shot now. Viking Raiders, bit busy. Humberto Carrillo, face v face, hasn't been doing a whole lot recently.
Yeah. So not going to happen.
Jinder Mahal, I think, is out with injury.
Yeah, he's gone for a while. Which is sad, because I would have loved to have seen a WWE Championship match between the two of them, just for old time's sake.
I think that's what this one was meant to be, and Ziggler's just been put in there. Kevin Owens, face v face again.
Yeah, but Kevin Owens is the kind of character that could flip on a dime, and it would make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see that. That would be a legitimate one, and would be something that I'd be interested in, because I'm not sure how they would play it. I'm not sure who would come out on top on that one.
I think it's the most legitimate option we've run down so far.
Yeah.
Street Profits, obviously a bit busy. Murphy?
Before Seth gets a shot?
Yeah, probably not. R-Truth, obviously a bit busy. Randy Orton. Depends whether Edge is done or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on the Edge storyline. I think if Edge is unable, I think we go full gun blazing on Orton versus Drew.
Mm-hmm.
And give Orton... Because Orton would give Drew his best match as WWE Champion. And Orton has the kind of pedigree that you're like, well, I'm not sure if Orton's going to lose this match.
Mm-hmm.
It would also give Orton his 16th title reign as well.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio, little busy.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work. Ricochet?
It would be neat. But storyline-wise and stuff, it wouldn't make any sense.
No.
And that's coming from Ricochet's, biggest fan.
Yep. Riddick Moss falling off the face of the earth. Robert Roode? About make as much sense as Dolph Ziggler would.
Which is probably why they would probably end up doing it.
Seth Rollins obviously had a shot, but maybe he wants another one.
And Seth's kind of character that can always get a shot whenever he wants it. Pretty much, because he's Seth. He's the top dog, basically.
Shelton Benjamin?
I would rather have MVP versus Drew before I'd have Sheldon.
That's fair. And my last one. I saved him till last. I skipped him over. I'm going back. Samoa Joe.
I almost think he's done in the ring.
There's a chance.
There's a chance, yes. But I think I would, if Samoa Joe was going to come out from behind the commentator's desk,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be for AJ Styles.
Yeah. They definitely have that.
Who's on the other show now. So
Yeah.
that train left the station. And I think Joe's settled into being a commentator, and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
I think that's where he needs to stay. As much as I enjoyed what he did in the ring once he came to WWE, I've enjoyed what he's doing on commentary. And I think he could be the next mainly heel color commentator that ushers in the next generation, next era for WWE.
Alrighty then, we have no real good options, so we're going to go with Drew McIntyre versus Kevin Owens. And that's pretty much all we got time for as well, because we have run out of time. It's been great talking to you.
Bye-bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRadio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, and we'll see you next week with the results from Extreme Rules.